look at our Discover commercial.
Oh,
Or whatever commercial.
Okay.
I don't know if it was the same.
All right, I'll call the Board of Public Works and Utilities Committee for Tuesday, April 5th, 2022 to order. I will start with roll call. Mayor Kim Smith,
Present.
Alder Stephen Knott is present, Alderman Jim Olson,
Present.
Jared Holter,
Here.
Sabrina Steger.
Here.
Okay, next we will do consideration and action on minutes from the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Well, it's consideration. So is the movement to approve?
Yes.
Yes, okay, and second. All right, any discussion? All right, none. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next is public input. Anyone wishing to provide public input will have 3 minutes per individual to speak. Prior to discussing your input, please identify your name and your address. This is first call for public input. Anyone online?
No.
Okay, second call for public input. Third and final call for public input. Public input is closed. Item number 4, informational technology security assessment. I will turn it over to Niles.
Thank you. Thank you. So I will be going over PowerPoint here, just to give a brief overview. A lot of stuff we can get in the weeds here, so I'll make sure I respect everyone's time here tonight. Any questions at any point, let me know. So to start with, one of the main areas I noted here was our web presence. So including information online and our social media. So with the website, obviously the more info published, the easier social engineering is, but there's definitely a kind of minimum for that, information has to be published. So we are developing a web team to ensure that we are balancing that where we're not having more info than is needed out there to make social engineering easier. Regarding our social media, we do have archiving in place, a solution so that any open records requests can be met. Go ahead, Jared. Email phishing. So we performed 9 phishing campaigns at the end of 2021. Most of them were not effective, which in this case is a good thing. We performed 1 training campaign following those 9 phishing campaigns. About 1 in 3 people responded, which according to OnTech is average. I'm hoping to see those numbers better next time we do this. But again, this is at the holiday season, so I think it went really well. And as I mentioned, there will be planning to make this an annual event. Go ahead, Jared. Vulnerabilities, again, there are a lot listed here. I'll just make very clear that the vulnerabilities that were listed were immediately addressed. All the ones at the end there for the immediate ones. But just to go into a little more detail, our antivirus was updated to a managed threat detection. This was actually done prior to the assessment. MCS is really on top of the ball and getting that rolled out for us. And we have a routine patch cycle that addresses many of these vulnerabilities. Again, a lot of these vulnerabilities on this assessment were just that snapshot that was taken before our patch cycle. So it, in many ways, isn't a fair assessment because they were immediately addressed by our patch cycle, I believe, later in that week. And then we have plans in place. At the end there's 2 server upgrades that are recommended. We have plans and we're working through those upgrades as we speak. Go ahead, Jared. So Active Directory, there are a few items in here pertaining to things like screen locks, passwords. So I've been working on cleaning up our domain structure, auditing those accounts to minimize the risk of just having accounts sitting out there that have access that they don't need. We're continuing to develop our inventory to track more like the hardware side of that so we know where all of our hardware assets are. We're planning on implementing 2-factor next year. That's been in the news a lot, especially with our insurance as well. And we'll be implementing policies, like I mentioned, to ensure that we have screen locks after 15 minutes. And then, as I said before, as I alluded to before, I've been in discussion with several vendors to continue these assessments. So looking at a potential penetration test, which will be kind of a next level assessment, going a little deeper than what this assessment was. We've had plans on having a social engineering component. So having someone actually coming on site pretending to be someone they aren't, rather than just have like someone trying to get in online to evaluate that. And then, yeah, like I said, we'll be continuing to conduct these assessments as well. So with that, are there any questions anyone has?
Like a speed presentation.
I was told to keep it short, so I was zipping through, but I'm happy to go into any
I
further
couldn't even
detail.
think of a question. You
Well,
were
Not bad.
I have one comment. So, first off, very pleased with what I've been seeing since I've been here, and it hasn't been for that long, but I think that you've got a good team. Second is, I personally think that the phishing campaigns are one of the most productive things that we can do with our time. I think it keeps us focused, constantly being tested. And then secondly, I think it is one of the most effective ways to identify shortfalls. Nobody should get embarrassed if they get caught. Phishing campaigns are effective. That's why they do them. And so it's just a learning process as we go through. So I guess where I'm going with this is I'm hoping that you continue with phishing campaigns throughout the year, preferably unannounced, of course. And just,
Yes.
yeah. So,
Yes.
yeah. So,
And to go in a little more detail, one of the municipalities with Civmec has a very
yeah.
we're talking like less than $1 per user. So I mean, the return on investment on those campaigns is very good. And I agree in many ways. The end users, they're the front line. So I mean, if you get them trained, they are a great asset to ensure that we keep our security posture in a good shape. So
Cool.
totally agree with you on that.
Cool. Yes, Jared.
Yeah, just overall, the work done in the last 2 years, really in the last 3 years since we've gotten the new IT staff, our IT manager, Nils Hausker, and MCS Networks, we've really made leaps and bounds strides as far as just security, overall updates to the system in general. I just want to make sure, we really applaud our IT staff of Nils and the provider we have, MCS Networks, because we've gone a long ways. I think if we would have did this in talking to the OnTech people, they'll go into these and find they'll have 100 things on the list. We had less than 10. So I think it really goes to show that this is a really positive thing that was conducted on our system, and it really shows the work that's been put into this. So it's just kudos to our staff of what we've had accomplished, and just wanted to pass that along.
Cool. Anything else? All right, thank you. We'll move on to item number 5, which is the 2022 miscellaneous concrete bid project. Jared.
Thank you. We have open bids today for our 2022 miscellaneous concrete bid. We did have 2 bidders this morning. We are recommending award to Fowler and Hammer Incorporated for $221,262.50. This does include our yearly miscellaneous concrete project, which does include the yearly sidewalk program. One of the things with this area that was performed this year is that it was a larger area, found a lot of defects. So we were up a little bit on defects. As far as budgeting goes, we are seeing prices increase. So this project is up a little bit from previous years, just with the state of our economy and things like that. We did have about $170,000 budgeted in the capital improvements budget for a lot of these items, and we're going to use some of the carryover from 2021. We did have approximately almost $50,000 more in the sidewalk program due to the number of areas that we had marked. So overall, we will have enough money in the capital improvements budget to perform this work, but it's just a little larger than what we've seen in the past. When we actually budget this during the capital improvements program, we don't have all the information back from the homeowners or property owners on which ones we're going to do as a city and which ones they're going to do. So it's always a best guess at that point. So I don't know, Kevin, you got anything to add on the project? Okay.
Make a motion that we approve the 2020 miscellaneous concrete project award to Fowler and Hammer for $221,262.50.
Second.
Okay, motion by
Second.
Mayor Smith to approve, seconded by Jim Olson. Any discussion?
The only question I had was in regards to 2023. We'll have to just keep that in mind as we
Correct.
budgeting for 2023 is capital improvements that,
Correct. We are actually going through, we have started the 2023 capital improvement budget already. And we are grappling with, and we're going to go to the next bid actually and go through that also. But we're grappling right now with supply chain issues causing price increases, price of commodities such as oil increasing prices. So it's going to be an interesting year as we get closer to the capital improvements budget on what we insert for costs and what we have, because it's just really volatile right now. We made the bottom line is we're not going to get as much done city project infrastructure wise with our normal amount of funding is what it's going to come down to.
That may just be a challenge we have to face. I mean, we don't want to be blowing budgets either, but yeah, so I mean, we're all reading that, inflation is going crazy, but everything I've read, construction materials are well above the national average on inflation as well. They're going up much quicker. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge. So. All right. We have a motion and a second. Any other further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 7, Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources 2021 Stormwater Permit Annual Report.
Number 6, we missed one.
Yes, I
Pave-
did. I'm sorry. Item number 6, 2022 pavement project. No, wait a minute. Yes, pavement project bid. I see why I got
First it
confused.
was concrete.
Concrete, now pavement. Got it. Yes. Again, Jared.
Yeah, in your handout tonight, I have a handout the project bid opening. We did only have one bidder of Matthew Construction. That is our typical bidder for this paving project. They are really the only provider that provides the service. We did have a total project cost of $492,024. One thing I will say with this project, we did have the 2022 utility bid back in January. The asphalt cost alone for this bid between that January bid and today was up 15%. So it did increase. We did have $505,000 budgeted in our capital improvements budget. So we do have enough money to cover this, but we did go into the contingency that we had included with that budget. With that, we do have a variety, not as large of a paving project this year, but it is still getting some city streets paved. So with that, staff's recommending approval.
I'll move to approve the 2022 pavement project and award the bid to Matthew Construction for a total cost of $492,024.
second,
Okay, motion to approve by Mayor Smith, seconded by Sabrina. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Now, item number 7, Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources 2021 Stormwater Permit Annual Report. Jared.
In your packet tonight, I have included the annual report that is required to be submitted on behalf of the city for our stormwater compliance. Our assistant city engineer, Kevin Schubert, does perform this report and does perform the activities that are listed inside the report to keep us compliant. Kevin's done a great job in this, is wholeheartedly taking it over. It's just a lot of the same materials from year to year. One thing I would point out is we're required to meet the 20% removal of suspended solids, which with the work we had done with the stormwater report update performed by Strand in 2021, we are able to report that we are meeting that goal. With that, I don't know if Kevin, you want to go through maybe a couple of things you've been working on with the stormwater group or anything, or you got anything you'd like to add? It's part of this.
Yeah, I guess as part of this on.
Jim, can you hand him your mic?
Oh, gosh.
On pages 33 and 34, these are the pages that deal with our stormwater group. This is sort of a consortium of municipalities here in La Crosse County, and actually La Crescent has joined the group based on some of their requirements from the state of Minnesota. So this is an outreach group, and it's one of the ways sort of potentially stormwater management on the municipal level is heading for where we can see more improvements. As part of it, construction sites, public or private, are already under the DNR's control for pollution prevention. But this is just another way that they've seen where we sort of missing some of the ways, how can we clean up streams, keep stormwater contained and prevent large floods. So these 2 pages are some of the things that the stormwater group, everybody does pay a portion. We do have a third consultant that assists us with some of this outreach. So there are a lot of things that you may not see or may not hear about that actually the city of Onalaska is participating in. There is a website, just to make everybody aware, that's lacrosseareawaters.org, I believe. There is a Facebook post there about the river cleanup, but this is just some numbers that the group does to sort of see how we can get sort of local end users of stormwater to assist with stormwater pollution prevention control. And actually, some of the things you noticed, one of the things that we have started here is there's every year we give sort of an award or a plaque for publicly sponsored stormwater projects, what you do at your house or the small community, and they voted on online on the website. We have had some winners here within the city of Onalaska. Actually, Northern Hills School received the award a couple of years back for a little stormwater rain garden they put in with some of the children there. And there's a plaque outside the school showing why the rain garden is important, why they chose the type of plant species they did. These are just easy things that citizens here in Onalaska can do to help, which ultimately better stormwater control and prevention from leaving a private residence ultimately helps the city being able to control it once it gets into our sewer system. So I guess I didn't have any questions if anybody wanted to have any at this time.
Hearing none. Thank you very much. All right,
We should have I'll make a motion to,
let's just file it or
to file the Wisconsin 2021 Stormwater Permit Annual Report.
all right, I'll second. Motion to file the report by Jared, seconded by myself. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 8, 2021 Public Works Department Annual Report.
In your packet tonight, I have included the 2021 annual report for the Public Works Department. We have been with COVID. We have not performed an annual report for 2 years now. We wanted to bring it back to highlight the activities that our department has done in the last 2 years. With that, once again, we've had multiple staff members work on this report. There's a lot of many items that are in the report that a lot of the public may not know that are actually performed by the Public Works Department. One of the things I really wanted to go through this year, and one of the reasons we did, we took a picture of Public Works staff and put it on the front page, which is something we've never done before. But I really want to commend all the staff. We would not be where we're at with our department without the staff that we have, and everything from plowing snow to ensuring clean, compliant drinking water, to making sure engineering projects are done, to making sure that the city's IT system works properly. So that is one of the biggest things that I see with our annual report. Just going through it quick, you can see we actually put a picture of the new roundabout at Green Coulee on there for kind of a starter for the capital projects that the engineering department performs. Got some figures of different capital projects that we've had performed by the city the last couple of years. Pictures of such things such as the Crestwood Booster Station, the new reservoir in Green Coulee, some jacking work under the tracks down by 2nd Avenue Southwest. Just a variety of things that have been performed on the engineering side of things. And then if we can, I'm going to invite Nils back up and just let him talk about some of the IT highlights for the last 2 years. Because once again, this kind of goes back in the assessment, but there's been so many very great upgrades in the IT system over the last couple of years. I just want him to take a couple minutes and highlight some of them and go through them.
Thank you, Jared. Yes, there's a lot of items here, but I mean, 2020 was a big year. You know, we brought on MCS, had basically complete gut and redo of our network and infrastructure. We started the fiber project, which then jumping ahead into last year, we completed. So that allowed us to have a fiber network between all of our sites, cut out a lot of expensive other services that we had through our service provider or internet service providers. We got room 112 to the place where it's at now. So we can have meetings like this with a remote presence as well. We had our first assessment through OnTech, as I went over earlier. We had our first IT needs assessment internally in 2020, trying to gather more information as far as what the departments want going forward as far as technology. Yeah, I can go over a lot of these, but I guess the last one, looking at this just to kind of pick out the big ones, FMX site merge. I know that's something I'm happy with. We had 2 FMX sites for ticketing. We got that consolidated. So just allows people that not, go to one site to request, whether it's technology requests, vehicle, buildings. So there's a lot less confusion there and helps, I think, the other staff on those other areas as well to respond to requests. Yeah, anything else you can think of, Jerry, like me going to?
No, I
I don't go through each one of them, but. just
Yeah,
wanted to pick out the
I
big
mean, maybe
ones.
he's got something they want to bring up that they've got question about that's in the list or something. Nils would be gladly to expound upon it. But, I think really even going into the pandemic, we were fortunate that a few months before the pandemic, our IT staff slid into getting laptops for a variety of staff. And if we wouldn't have made that, have staff being proactive on that, we would have been behind going into the pandemic. But we were able to withstand that a little easier because we were already going that way. And I think the needs or the security assessment, if you would have went 3 to 4 or 5 years ago, we probably had some security holes that could have been vulnerabilities that could have been gone after. But I think we've tightened a lot of them up. And I think that's just one of the big parts of it. Also on the GIS side, Caitlin's not here, but there's been a lot of things going forward with the GIS side of things also. A lot of good things, getting our mapping system even more robust than it is than today. And then just kind of finishing out the report, you can see there's some pictures of just some of the things that happen on a daily basis, from picking up storm damage to clearing snow to flushing mains to fixing curb boxes. So there's a variety of things, there's not only do we have those things, we don't have pictures in here, but there's, city cemetery, fleet, traffic signals. There's a multitude of items that the Public Works Department goes through. So I guess with that, I'll call the annual report.
Yes, Mayor.
I just want to put in, he kind of went fast over the GIS part of this, and I just want to put in a plug for that because I think it's really underappreciated how much falls under that category. And really, Caitlin has worked, she listens to the different groups that she's working with, and she uses maps to help develop more efficient ways for them to do their work. And by doing that, she also creates a database so that we can make predictions about the future. And I think this has been a tool that has really helped lift the Public Works Department and the whole city to a new level. And this isn't just being used by Public Works, it's also being used by our emergency management systems as well.
And I would just expound upon that and say it's so much more than just a map. Everyone looked at it years ago and they said, well, it's a nice map. Well, there's multitudes of information layers, and our whole Public Works staff all have an iPad. They sometimes to our IT staff's chagrin, but they do keep track of everything from hydrant flushing to daily tasks, testing of our water system. There's so much that happens that gets documented in a real-time live fashion that we can get that data out. For instance, we were doing some recycling things that were in the last week that we're documenting on the iPad. So it's a great tool. And as the mayor pointed out, we can be predictive and we can do predictive maintenance instead of maintenance or doing things where we're just waiting for something to happen. We can hopefully be proactive and be on it and totally right, Mayor. I didn't want to slight the GIS portion of things, but it's a huge component of what we do.
Any other discussion? Yes, I entertain another motion to file this report.
Make a motion to file the report, the Public Works, 2021 Public Works Department Annual Report.
Second.
Okay, motion to file by Sabrina, seconded by Jim. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 9, safety equipment signage quotes for Public Works Department.
In your packet tonight, I have included 2 quotes for various safety equipment items. Part of what has brought this forward is the Wisconsin Department of Transportation has outlined new rules to perform work on state highways. And as you know, we've got Highway 16, 157, 53, 90, where a lot of our public works infrastructure is at water, sewer, utilities. We have areas out there where we've got to go out and do maintenance to these, and we've got to have the proper updated materials. They want larger signage, correct signage, and one of the big things that's on this list is an attenuator. So that's a towable crash cushion that we can have behind the truck to ensure that in case someone's not paying attention, not only protects our staff, protects whoever's in the vehicle. One thing I will point out is that these items were budgeted last July. So now it is April of 2022. So we had originally put forward a $50,000 budget. With that, we ended up cutting items out of what we had budgeted and actually still came up with the low bid of $57,704.42. Just to give you an idea, there's the middle of the Safe Fast quote. You can see there's one towable attenuator, one aero board, and then the aero board assembly. And if you add those 3 items up, it comes to over $30,000. We had originally had that item budgeted at just over $24,000 back in last July. So we have deleted some items, but we feel we really need to get, if we're going to do this, we need the items that are on the list. A lot of this is getting paid for by the water, sewer, stormwater utilities, because that's where the work, the need is for the work. I think the utility budgets can handle the overage to purchase all the equipment on the list, and staff is recommending to purchase the equipment on the list so we can safely be out on the state highways.
I move to approve the purchase of the safety equipment and signage from Safe Fast for $57,704.42.
Second.
Motion to pass by Mayor Smith, seconded by Jim Olson. Any discussion? So, Jared, I guess I just have one question. I mean, one of the, well, no, it's not gonna make any difference. I guess I don't have a question. Okay. I just don't see where we're gonna pull everything out, because where the big budget items are, it's like one item. So it's not like we can reduce the number, the quantity. I was looking at some of the larger quantities, but they're such a small purchase price, it's not gonna matter. 15 items at $180, for instance, it's not gonna,
Yeah.
2 out won't make a difference.
It's like having a channelizing drums. We got 40 of them in there. Could we do 30? You gotta make sure you got enough to cover the work zone and the taper and everything. And we really,
Yeah, but if you cut 10 out, we'd save $174.
These are all things that now you'll have. them.
yes, we'll have them.
So-
And if you've been to our public works facility, you can see we take care of our equipment. We have some, if you look at our safety equipment area, you can see that we take care of it. And this will be a long-term investment for the city.
But not more than 20 years. So
No, not that
won't
long
be able
term.
to be in that budget.
Any other discussion or questions? Okay, I have a motion that's seconded on the table. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 10, pay estimates.
We have the three as shown on your April 5th estimate sheet. No changes from the packet.
Move to approve the 3 estimates showing the Public Works monthly estimate sheet dated April 5th, 2022.
Second.
Motion to pass the pay estimates or the monthly estimates by Mayor Smith, seconded by Jim Olson. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We now move on to utilities. Number 11 is no report, which brings us up to item number 12. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Smith to adjourn, seconded by Sabrina.
7:12.
Right? Yeah, so all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yes, time is 7:12. We are adjourned.
Yay.
We didn't have one of those.